My friend Paul at seminary invited 11 of us seminarians to go on a retreat to the Franciscan Friars of the Primitive Observance. And the key word is primitive. He showed a picture, and guess how many agreed to go? Goose egg, zero, nada. But I like the outdoors and I like to climb mountains, so I said, Paul, sure, I'll go. And so we load up our car and we drive to this remote mountain in Massachusetts. It is snowing like crazy. We get all of our gear on top of us and we start hiking up this mountain. We're hiking and hiking and hiking. And then we finally get to it. And I'm like, I want to find a motel. It is scary. It is yucky. It is ugly. It don't got no alibi. Ugly. And so my prayer was, God, help me to get through one night at this place. One night. It was so bad I couldn't sleep that night. And so I get up and I walk outside. And I see the most beautiful, spectacular display of the stars in the sky. And then I heard in the silence of my heart, God speaking to me. My grace is sufficient. I got this. He didn't change the circumstance. The place was still ugly. It was horrible. But He changed me. He changed me. It was so profound that I ended up making 3 more retreats at this place. That's a little bit what St. Paul experienced. Did you hear what he said? He said, I had a thorn in my flesh. And what did he do? 3 times he begged the Lord. Begged, please, 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 take it from me. I can't stand it. And what did God do? He didn't take it away, but He said, Paul, I'm going to change you. My grace is sufficient for you, Paul. What is grace, friends? Grace, another word for it, actual grace is help. In simple terms, my help is sufficient for you. And He gave Paul 3 things. He gave him fidelity, to be faithful. The ancient Israelites, when they were tested and afflicted, what did they do? They turned to other gods. They forsook the Lord their God. Second thing He did, He gave Paul strength. Paul said, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Not just the easy things, the manageable things, the simple things, all things. And finally, He gave him trust. To trust God when he was sorely afflicted. There was this seminarian in New York State. He was about ready to become a deacon. He prepared 6 long years. And he was so excited to be a priest. And then he got the news. He has terminal cancer. He went from a 190-pound ball of muscle, athletic, full of energy, down to an 85-pound skeleton. And at the tail end of his life, he motioned for his friend to come near him, could hardly speak. And his friend put his ear down to him. And Eugene said, You can't imagine the joy, the joy, the joy of not being crushed by cancer, not being defeated, by being so strong he could keep his faith when everything was crushing. Going back to St. Paul, he said 5 times I was whipped, 40 lashes minus 1. He said 3 times I was beaten with rods. He said once I was stoned. Friends, in biblical times, when you were stoned, you don't survive. Pelted from stones from every direction. They get this big old stone of execution and thrust it into the temple of your head. He said, once I was shipwrecked. He said, I spent many nights in the open sea. He said he went naked and homeless and cold. He was in prison, chained to a wall. And he said, who is weak? And I don't feel weak. Who is crushed? And I am not overcome. He said, when I am weak, then I am strong. Strong like Eugene on that bed saying, I trust you, Jesus. I trust you. There is heaven. There is an end to this suffering. There is eternal life. And there is liberty from sin. Oh boy. I've had friends who have been addicted, and they say, when Christ has set me free, it's the best feeling in the world. Wow. Freedom, strength, fidelity, and trust. You and I are plugged in to the power source of the universe, the God who breathed the expanse into existence by His powerful word. Wow. Wow. Do you want that? I want that. Ask for it. Ask, listen carefully. Ask to be faithful in the little things of life. And then He'll help you to be faithful in the big challenges of life. Every day, St. Therese of Lisieux said, the key to holiness, the key to tapping into this power that St. Paul and Eugene discovered, is being faithful in little things. Faithful, trusting, doing everything with great love. The greatest saint of modern times, Pope John Paul II said, Therese of Lisieux, to do little things with extraordinary love. Thousands of times a day, you and I have ordinary things. Are we going to drive like a Christian? Are we going to clean up our messes? Are we going to pray for people who are annoying around us? Are we going to smile at someone who is really hard to smile at? That is what St. Therese taught us. Be faithful in these little things. And then He's going to empower you to be faithful in the pressure cookers that you and I will face. So that when we're with Eugene on that bed and everything within us wants to forsake the Lord our God, we'll say, nada, never, no, I will serve my God no matter how hard it gets. I will pray always and never lose heart. I will be faithful unto death, and He will give me the crown of life